Hello, everyone. We are so excited to introduce Amber Trueblood. This is her official launch day for her book, Stretch Marks. We're so excited and we just want to hear from you. So, Amber, why don't you let us know just about yourself and then we can talk about the book.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Megan. This is my book called Stretch Marks. And I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm a mom to 4 boys. So right now they are 8, 10, 12, and 13, which is mind boggling to me. And I really am passionate about sharing with moms who were where I was 10 years ago, like feeling just like lost and not supported, not acknowledged, like working, doing, like going all day, and then just collapsing at the end of the day and thinking, like, what did I even do today? What even happened? Like I was there for everybody else. I'm flipping exhausted, and yet something's missing. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like I really, and I'm a learner. I'm always going to workshops and seminars and reading books. And so what I wanted to do is pull together like the very best tips and practices and tools that like I could actually use to get myself out of that hole so that I could sleep during the night. So that I could like actually enjoy my kids instead of just feeling like I was managing them all the time and like surviving, which is great. You got to survive, right? But like I wanted to really like be able to enjoy them and then also find myself again, because we go through a period of time when we have little ones that it really is all about keeping them alive, right? And it makes sense. Like if you don't get up in the middle of the night every 45 minutes, like they're probably not going to make it. So you have to like sacrifice a lot at the beginning. I think the challenge is like how to decrease that level of sacrifice and increase your own self-care and your own emotional resiliency, and how to refuel yourself emotionally and physically and psychologically so that like you have that balance. And that's the tricky part. And so that's really what like Stretch Marks is all about. Like if you're feeling really as a mom like overwhelmed, a little lost, maybe unsupported, not acknowledged, not valued for like all the hard work you're doing, or you
I'm
feel
like,
because it's common. Like, and if you're not feeling this way, then like, awesome. Like share with
yeah.
us. Like we want to learn from each other. It's not a competition. Like we all will do better and our children will do better. And like, I really believe this is the best way I can help the entire planet, because I think moms are lost and feeling really unsupported and unhappy and super anxious and fearful. They're going to pass that to their children. They're not going to be the best moms they can be. They're not going to feel great about themselves. And kids see that, right? Our kids notice and learn from what we say and what we do and our expressions and all of it. So I feel like my best way to help the planet is to help you as a mom be the best person, feel the best way you can. And then that will like lead a next generation of kids that are just, man, like, can you imagine like them being, not having those fears that we grow up having, feeling that confidence, but also that compassion for others, feeling that like clarity about what's important to them, what values are important to them. And like, so that's my real passion and goal, is to help moms and it's totally possible. I'm really excited.
Well,
You were frozen for a second.
I know you were frozen too. I hope it's not as bad as on my end at least. But anyway, I think because I'm a mom of 4 and I think we all just feel that depletion at the end of the day. And I love because I'm reading, I was already telling you that I'm marking it like crazy, that you feel that, well, if nobody really is going to support my bucket of like what I feel to be fulfilled and accomplished, you really do have to find out what those things are, and you just kind of need to do it yourself. It's really, your kids aren't going to fill it for you. And I think it definitely is making me think of, what are my things that, I need to do every day. There's a big list at the beginning of just ideas of where to kind of start brainstorming of, is it reading, which it is, and is it exercising, is it being outside, do those things. When you check those boxes, you're like, okay, good, I got outside today. Like, it wasn't all lost. So,
and being clear about that, like what's on your priority list versus like, and I love like really actionable tools that are not necessarily easy because we might be out of practice, but almost all of them are really simple. So, if you're able to like divide up what really has to be done today versus what can be delayed versus what can be delegated to other people. So that's called the Eisenhower box. Like, I have a bunch of tricks and tactics that are like, hey, it's your job to, yes, like you said, Megan, like take responsibility for your own happiness. But I have to take an aside on that, is just remember that for the most part, unless you're with like a psychotic person, for the most part, the people around you really do want you to be happy. It doesn't mean they're responsible for your happiness. It doesn't mean they know how to get you there. It's your job to know the how, but they really do want you to be happy. So the more you can figure out for yourself what is, and I like to separate like true self-care from surface self-care. So like surface self-care is lovely. It might be a massage, it might be like a pedicure, and in the moment that you're doing it feels lovely. But then you step back into home and nobody's done the dishes, the kids are fighting, you just stepped on something, you don't know what it is and it's smelly. Now you have to go change your shoes and wash, you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden your cortisol levels and your adrenaline levels are back up.
You're like, I'm so glad I just spent an hour getting a pedicure, and it feels like nothing has changed. It really is the truth.
I'm out of here. I'm just going to go back into the car because, oh my gosh, and you're just ready to scream. And it's almost worse because you come with the expectation that I just had this lovely day. I just spent all this money. Are you kidding me with this?
Yeah.
So it's almost worse than if you hadn't, because
I feel like you are talking about my life right now, because it's like whenever I like get my hair done, I come home and I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't have left, because I don't feel refreshed and I don't, so I'm thinking that if you're hitting spots for me, I feel like this is needed for so many moms out there, especially, hitting this year mark with COVID. I think we're all kind of feeling that depletion, and, where do we go from here?
Well, and the things that you mentioned, like walking outside, like dancing, like reading, those are potentially true self-care, like really filling your emotional, I call it like bank account level. So, and it's different for everybody, because I really love to start anything I'm talking about. If I'm talking about communication with your partner or sibling rivalry or emotional self-care or meditation or visualization, no matter what I'm talking about, I always have to start with the acknowledgement that like, you are all different. All of us moms have different values, priorities, interests, family dynamics. You're this different, unique combination of all of those things. And then you're different than you were 5 years ago, and you're different than you're going to be 5 years from now. So it's up to you then to say like, oh, going outside every morning for 20 minutes, man, yeah, that really would shift my whole day, huh? Versus other people who are just like, right now, that does not sound good to me at all. So it's up to you to really take your own inventory and trust yourself, and not say, well, my sister always tells me I should do this, or now if it resonates because she knows you really well, and you kind of know she's right, that's one thing. But if it doesn't resonate, like when I was in the weeds, I call it, with my 4, and mine are pretty close in age, I remember a lot of people telling me, just chill. Like, what's the rush? Like, you have 4 beautiful, healthy little, angels, and you should just be grateful and just chill out. There'll always be time for you to achieve and do things, because I wanted to be doing things, but I didn't have the time or space. And that frustration really ate at me. And then I don't know if y'all can relate, and then I felt guilty for wanting something more outside my family. Like,
Yeah.
I made all these children. I spent a lot of time, it was a lot of work. And now I want to do this over here. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why can't I just chill out and enjoy it? I have literally people telling me I should be doing that.
Yeah.
And it did not resonate. And you know what? If it doesn't resonate, I just don't believe you can talk yourself into it. Like that might be the best answer for them. And so they're telling you, I'm not saying they're like up to no good. They want you to be miserable. I think most people say what they would need to hear in that situation, because that's their best bet, like, oh, I would want somebody to tell me, relax. So that's what they're sharing with you. But if it doesn't resonate and it's not helpful, just say, thank you very much. I so appreciate your input. I know you're trying to help me, and then move on. Move on, because there are those people, like Megan and myself, who will say, if that doesn't feel right to you, let's find something that does and get you all the tools you need to like make it happen in a realistic way. Like I hate when I always read books too, and I'm like, wow, she told this really amazing story about how she like quit her job, sold everything, went like on a 3-month hike to the Himalayas, or even something as simple as like, oh, this woman started running, 7 miles every morning, and then she'd meditate for 45 minutes. Like that might even sound lovely. The running part does not sound lovely, but that's what worked for that person. And it makes a really beautiful story of transformation. But if it doesn't if it's not the actual tools that you would use, it's kind of just a story.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that was entertaining. And now I really want help. I almost cursed there. You know what I mean? I want effing help. I want change.
But I think that's also a lesson of that your advice is what's worked for you. And it's, when you are trying to help somebody, a friend or a sister or whatever, to not project like, well, it worked for me and it's going to work for you. I swear, I've been told that I need to wake up at 5 a.m. for the last like 5 years. And I'm like, it's not my season. It's not my season to be waking up at 5 a.m. I'm so glad that works for you. I like sleep, and that's what I need, so.
That's a really good friendship tip. So like one of the most genius tactics for communication with friends, and this works with people closer to you as well, but I think it's a little easier to do with friends, is ask them at the very beginning, hey, like, I really want to be helpful. I want to be a good friend here. Are you looking for like advice and solutions, like to brainstorm? Are you looking for just like, you just need a safe place to kind of vent and share? Ask them really specifically what they're looking for. And because they might not consciously know it. And so it provides them an opportunity to say, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm not ready for advice yet. Thanks for asking. I just need a hot minute to vent. And then same thing for you. Then you become more able to say that ahead of time to your friends. You can preempt any unsolicited advice by saying, hey, I'm still really tender about this topic. Like, I want to share with you this argument I had with my partner, but like, I'm not ready for you to like gangbuster, like solve it for me yet. I just feel like, I just need a safe place to land this information and kind of process it as I'm talking, be really clear about it. And that will help both sides. Then they come away feeling like, yeah, like I actually helped. Yeah. Huge.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's clear that we need to talk about this more. So maybe we can set up I feel like it would be really fun to do a Q&A with you with what people walk away with, because I think books like this for the right audience can just open up so much information of just personal, where they've had, hard times and they can see it from the other side. Because I think a lot of times when you're in the weeds, you can't see, you have no perspective that your kids are going to grow up, that, things are going to open, your life's going to kind of open back up again. And I think it's really hard to get advice from somebody who's from the other side looking in like, oh, I've been there, but they're so sweet and they grow up so fast, and you're thinking, I'd like them to grow up fast. Like that's kind of where you are, you're like, I'm kind of done waking up every hour, every night, So, torturous. Yeah. Sleep deprivation is not good.
I mean, sleep alone. And that's why, I do start with, there's a couple sections of the book where I talk about like what mom mode you're in right now is really indicative of what tools are going to be most helpful. Yeah. So if you're in the mom mode where like 45 minutes alone at Target is like, like, are you kidding me? I can just walk around at my own pace. I'm not wiping any noses. I'm not I'm not worrying about anybody but myself. And then you look and then, you pass one of those like mirrored columns and you're like, holy mackerel, this is how I left the house. That's interesting. All right, then, if you're in that mode, then you really are in the mode where sleep, getting good, consistent, call it quality sleep is like first and foremost. Drinking water, like making sure that you're not just going straight to the wine and straight to the coffee and really balancing that with hydrating yourself. Because of all the physiological benefits, like there's legit, like you're feeding your cells that then make your brain function better. Like it's not just, oh, drink water because, it's good for your metabolism. There's like a million reasons.
Yeah.
And so it's like sleep, water, and really reconnecting with friends that allow you to feel supported and loved and cared for and acknowledged. So like if you're at that Target mode, those are the things to focus on, not like, oh, what's your business plan for your dream business once your kids get out of the house? Like that's not where you are right now, know?
Yeah.
And then different modes. And then there's modes where like, okay, the kids just went back to school. Maybe you were a working mom that then stayed at home for a little bit and you're itching to do something again, but you don't want to go back to what you were doing before. But maybe that's what you invested all this time and money in. So that's what everybody around you expects you to do. And how do you manage that? So like, depending on what stage you're in, you're going to need different tools, and Stretch Marks breaks that down.
Well, that's so great. Okay. Whoo, I'm so excited. So, I feel like we've touched all the points of if you are this type of mom, I feel like we've hit all of the things that I think at the end of this video, you're going to know if you need this book. And I think that's so great about self-help is they kind of speak to you, and these video, the interviews that we do with authors are so great because we can break down and really hone in on what the book is about. And it really will speak to you if you're the right reader. So that's what we want to accomplish. So Amber, thanks so much for chatting. I know this is not going to be the end of our chats. So we are so excited. So everybody, the link is in our profile to sign up. And we are just so excited to see Amber's campaign unfold. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.